Earlier this evening, I mentioned the fascinating life of director Henry Koster. According to his son, Koster lost his temper with a Nazi officer in Germany in the early 1930s. And Koster, who was Jewish, punched out the officer, knocking him out cold. He was handed some money by the bank manager, got immediately on a train, and left Germany. After a short time in France, Koster emigrates to the United States. And where do you hear this last incredible fact about Koster? In the very late 1930s, Koster went to a nightclub in New York, where he saw two comedians who he was convinced could be stars. He goes back to Hollywood and convinces Universal Studios to bring the pair to the West Coast. The title of the first film these two comedians made is certainly forgettable, but not one of the routines they performed in that picture. The routine was, who's on first? And of course, the duo was Abbott and Costello, discovered by tonight's director, Henry Koster. Our female lead, Dana Winter, like director Henry Koster, was born in Berlin. She was raised, however, in both England and South Africa. And very interesting indeed is the fact that she really saw more activity on television, featured in both Robert Montgomery Presents and Playhouse 90 in the early 1950s before she journeyed west to make motion pictures. Perhaps her most famous movie role was in the now cult classic sci-fi thriller Invasion of the Body Snatchers, made in the same year as tonight's presentation. Miss Winter has made some sporadic television appearances since 1980. Still very much alive, she maintains homes in both California and Ireland. And I must mention Richard Todd, who plays the role of Colonel John Winter tonight. Dublin-born Todd was a real paratrooper in World War II, and he participated in the actual action we will see portrayed this evening, playing the commander of the very regiment in which he served. When he got back into stage acting after the war, he landed the role of Latchy in the play The Hasty Heart on Broadway. He was able to bring that role to the screen, and that performance won him his one and only Oscar acting nomination. I still best remember him as a great Robin Hood from 1952's The Story of Robin Hood, and a very inspiring Peter Marshall from A Man Called Peter. Still alive and still even more distinguished, Richard Todd, now in his 80s, has devoted more time to his first love, the stage. Well, what about next time on the WVIZ PBS Big Picture Show? Well, I have to get my black coat back from the cleaners because we have another classic film noir presentation for you. In fact, many critics regard it as one of the finest examples of film noir ever to come out of Hollywood, starring Sterling Hayden and Louis Calhern, as well as featuring the legendary Marilyn Monroe. It's The Asphalt Jungle, and it's coming up on the next WVIZ PBS Big Picture Show. But for right now, the action is really just beginning in our World War II retelling of that most fateful day in world history. Prepare for the drama as we rejoin Robert Taylor, Edmund O'Brien, Richard Todd, and Dana Winter in D-Day, the 6th of June.